think most of you probably know what termites are. There are two kinds. You have the wood termite and the soil termites. These little insects, they feed on wood. Those are very, very dangerous to have in your home. They can get into your furniture or into the very structure of your house and create tremendous problem for you. And they will eat the wood. They'll feed on it until there's no more. And these termites, you will never see them coming into your house. But the dry wood termites, they at times would leave some sandy dust. That's one way you can tell that you have termites. Or even in your soil, in your grass, you see these insects. You can see they eat the soil, and your grass will get very weak because there's no nutrient in that anymore. But I tell you, these termites that feed on wood that come into your house, they will feed there, they will consume the wood until there's no life in it anymore. And if they get into your furniture, you can have a tremendous problem. There are those that feed on rotten wood, damp wood, and dry wood, termites. You know, I really, this termite and sin, I was wondering, what is the connection here? Termites. You know, that's what sin would do. When sin comes into one's life, it will feed on individuals. It will really, really hurt and destroy good homes and families. That's exactly what these pests will do. It's really pests when they come into your house to get rid of them. Now, two things. You can try to get rid of them yourself, or you can get a professional to do it. They're called exterminators. Now, they come in and they multiply. They multiply. Before you know it, you got a huge problem in your house. A huge problem to deal with. Because they stay there and they have babies. And they just keep multiplying and multiplying. If you call an exterminator, you will come in and assess the problem, and he might need to come into your house two, three, 4 times to really eradicate this problem. Get rid of it once and for all. But if you try to do it yourself, you may not get all of it. You might partly solve the problem, and then it comes back again. You know, that's exactly what happened in the Garden of Eden. When sin entered the Garden of Eden, from that time forward, my brethren, the family structure became weak and weaker. Similar with these pests that would get into the house, if it is not detected soon enough, that property might have to be demolished. That furniture all of a sudden cannot withstand your weight. It might break. that these termites get right into the foundation of your home. So sin itself get right into the foundation of the family. And so when God created Adam and he put him in the Garden of Eden, he said to him in Genesis 2 and verse 16, the Lord commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thou shalt surely die. Adam knew the direct result of sin, because God told him. God said, if you eat, you will die. So he was not innocent. He knew. And he chose to disobey God's words. And because of that sin, we notice that Adam and Eve became very shy. So much that they weren't able to look into the eyes of God. Very, very shy people. All of a sudden, you know what they did? They hid themselves. They become so ashamed, so shy were they, that they hid themselves. Termites got into Adam's life. Sin got into his family. And so in Genesis 3 and verse 8, and they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden, shy, ashamed. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? He said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid. Why? Because he was naked. I was naked, he said, and I hid myself. All of a sudden, this innocent couple weren't innocent anymore. This couple that was so easy to approach, very approachable couple, weren't so easy to approach anymore. They heard God in the garden, and because of sin, they saw their nakedness. All of a sudden, that innocency is gone. And Adam and Eve hid themselves. What else did they do? They tried to cover it up, didn't they? They tried to cover their sin. Well, brethren, I tell you, if you got termites in your home, you need an exterminator. You need a professional to deal with it. Can't cover it. If you got sin, and I'm likening sin to termites, they're equally bad in your home. And so Adam and Eve, these, as I said, approachable couple, didn't want God to see them. They hid themselves, and we can see how they felt. They were very, I'm sure, very disappointed with themselves, knowing that God would see them the way they were.